You wanna sing, Melissa? Melissa?
Yeah,
You wanna sing?
yes, please.
You want it up or down?
Oh, it's perfect.
Gauravani Prabhu is on his way, so he'll be here soon.
Right. Just about to clean it now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. I know.
You excited?
She was
Gauravani Prabhu back in Pittsburgh again. Haribo!
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you guys again. Are you familiar with a man called the Chan Kazi? Who here has never heard of the Chan Kazi? I feel like, so this character was famous for stopping kirtan. He didn't want kirtan going on. And Lord Chaitanya and his devotees would chant in the street, and the men of the Chan Kazi would tell them, stop chanting, and they would break the drum. We're lucky we don't have that problem in Pittsburgh. Whenever I come, I feel like I'm the Chan Kazi. Whoever is beautifully leading the kirtan, they stop when I come. It's like I don't want to stop the kirtan. I feel like the Chan Kazi. I would come in the room and the kirtan stops. That's really beautiful kirtan. I love that tune. So nice to see all of you. I get to come to Pittsburgh from time to time and join you here at this beautiful Kirtan Center. It's awkward to feel like a special guest because I don't want to interrupt what you guys are doing. It's perfect. And you're just driving down the street and see the lights and everyone chanting and the beautiful sign out front welcoming everyone and people inside greeting each other and then coming inside, and there's beautiful altar space here and devotees singing. And yeah, it's just, I don't want to interrupt it in any way, but because I'm a guest, they make me feel awkward. But thank you. I mean, what you guys are doing here is really the perfect. It's the essence of the bhakti practice, the spiritual life that given to us by our teachers, going back to Sri Chaitanya. Has anyone here never heard of Sri Chaitanya? Anyone? Raise your hand. Anyone not heard of Sri Chaitanya? All right, great. Well, welcome. We'll try and connect you with this beautiful practice. So just to finish what I was saying, Sri Chaitanya, I'll explain a little more in a moment, but Sri Chaitanya, he told his brother, Nityananda, that what you should do is go throughout all of the villages and just encourage people to get together in their homes or wherever they can, sing God's names together, share something, speak about God according to their own realization of what they can read in the various books, and then feed each other with sumptuous vegetarian food that's been offered to God. That's it. That's the whole package. It seems like, well, maybe that's like the warm-up for something else, and then one day you'll get the real, like the high, like the next level. That's it. It's wonderful. Now why? Because no matter your level of experience or realization, it's either feeding you on a level of the body, or it's feeding you on the level of the psyche, or it's feeding you on the level of the spirit. And God is available. We know this. There's so many religions, there's so many practices, but God is available to everyone. And usually the obstacles to reach God, to connect with God, we're putting them on ourselves. For those of you from the Abrahamic background, of the Abrahamic tradition, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, there's a story about Moses that I heard that's quite interesting. Anyone here not familiar with Moses? Never heard of Moses before. So the story of Moses basically is that he was from a Jewish family at the time when most of the Jews were slaves in Egypt. And his mother didn't know what to do with her baby, and so she put him in a boat of reeds and sent him down the river, praying that God would take care of him. And he happened to be seen by the daughter of the Pharaoh, and she took him in, and he became like the family of the king, even though he was from the people of the slaves. And then eventually he finds out, actually, Moses, these are your people, these enslaved people, they're your people. And then he finds out that God wants him to do some work and free his people. And it just goes on and on, the story of Moses. And eventually he's taking all of his people who were formerly enslaved, and they're out in the desert wandering, and he doesn't know what to do. Finally, the story that most people know is he wanders off up onto a mountain, and he sees a burning bush. And the voice of God comes to him and tells him what he should do and gives him instructions. So this is the story. Everyone pretty familiar with this story, kind of the general story of Moses. So I heard an interesting version of this from a rabbi that I met that said actually a little bit different than what most people hear. This burning bush, according to this gentleman that was speaking, was not actually a form of God as most people think. Most people in the story think that God came in the form of a burning bush. But that actually this word in the Old Testament for this burning bush is actually a word for something very disgusting and awful. So why would they use that word to describe God? So actually, according to the more mystical sides of this tradition, you could say even the bhakti sides of this tradition, they teach that actually what happened was Moses allowed to leave himself all of his resentment, anger, and hate towards God that he had felt his whole life. He felt, why was I born as an orphan without a family? Why was I, and then I find out that I'm a slave. Then I find out that I have all this burden of responsibility. And then I have to go through so many trials and difficulties. Now I'm lost, and all these people are dependent, and he's always resentful, and he's hating God for the burden that he feels God put on him in his life. And finally, when he's totally desperate, he lets that resentment outside of himself, and he sees it. That basically his attachment to not loving God, and he sees it there in the form of this burning thing. And when he lets it outside of himself, then he hears the voice of God. And according to this mystical side of this tradition, what is it God's saying? God says, I've been talking to you since you were born. I've been talking to you your whole life. I was speaking to you from the very beginning, all the way through every day of your life. But until you let all this resentment outside of yourself, you couldn't hear me. You couldn't hear my voice. So in our lives, so many of the obstacles that we put up actually are coming from us, from ourselves. I'm staying with Ramacharya Prabhu. I think he just came in. So we're speaking to my roommate, my friend Ramacharya Prabhu. Many people use religion for negative purposes. Are you familiar with this in the world? Right? So many wars, people say they're doing it in the name of God. So much oppression and difficulty. Even inside a family, people can use oppression or religion to oppress each other. People can feel that way. But actually, all this is our own resentment and our own fear, anxiety, lack of faith, lack of willingness to speak with God and to hear God. And it affects everyone around us. So spiritual life doesn't need to actually be more complicated. Simply what you guys are doing, gathering together and encouraging each other to express your heart in song to God, to share prasad, sanctified food, to listen and read and discuss and think and meditate on God. And this elevates the rest of our lives. And to the degree that we can pour our heart into these practices, to that degree, we're more and more and more in contact with God. And then everything becomes godly. Every situation we have becomes perfect because we see it through the eyes of a lover of the Lord. Every challenge that we have actually becomes a blessing. Figure that one out. Every challenge we have becomes a blessing. That is mystical. Whatever difficulties we have in our life, we understand when we see them through God's eyes, they can only be from love. They can only be given through love. There's no way that God would give us something in our life that is not meant for our benefit, our well-being. That's a mystical vision. Okay, so who is Sri Chaitanya? Someone tell me. So this tradition, this particular tradition, there are so many beautiful traditions and ways to connect with God. There are an unlimited ocean of names of God. You know, in some traditions they say that if you had an ocean filled with ink and you used it to write all of the names and qualities of God, you would finish that whole ocean and you would need another ocean. Or sometimes they say, in our bhakti tradition, they say that there are as many names for the Lord as there are waves on the ocean. What does that mean? There are always new ones. The ocean is constantly, because God is constantly doing wonderful and beautiful things. And the lovers of God are constantly naming those things. We have Krishna, the all-attractive one. We have Govinda, the one who nourishes the senses and the cows. We have Keshava, long, beautiful, blackish hair. We have so many names. Murlidhara, the wielder of the flute. We have Vrindavan Natavara, the dancer of the village of Vrindavan. Each name, special quality to attract our heart. So who is Sri Chaitanya? Sri Chaitanya in this tradition, Sri Chaitanya is you could say he's like the tree. All these other beautiful teachers and saints, they come from the tree of Sri Chaitanya. That's one way that you can understand him. Yeah, great. Don't you love our dear friend Mukunda Leela? Yeah. So Sri Chaitanya. So let's take a second. So Sri Chaitanya, his primary two things that he brought to the world, which we're still benefiting from here in Pittsburgh. Like on one level, it's like Sri Chaitanya like came to India 500 years ago, danced around India. Like, what does that have to do with me? Like, I just came here after my job. Like, what does that have to do with me in Pittsburgh? Sri Chaitanya brought two very special things to the world. The first is this practice of chanting and singing God's names in congregation like this, spread as wide as it is. It all comes from Sri Chaitanya. And that these waves of love that we can experience through this practice, it all comes from him. This practice was spread widely by him and his disciples. So especially the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, which you were doing earlier, this beautiful, simple chant that only has 3 words, but if you get a taste for it, an experience for it, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is perfect in any circumstance. It's just the right size mantra for whatever you're dealing with. One of my favorite stories about the Hare Krishna mantra is a friend of mine was in New York for the Rath Yatra festival, which is on Fifth Avenue. It's like a big parade on Fifth Avenue. And a police officer came up to him and said, "Excuse me, I like you people." The police officer said, "I like you people. In fact, I volunteer for this festival every year. I've been doing it 15 years. I like you people. You don't drink, you don't smoke, you know, there's no violence. It's like everybody's different, you know, races and cultures and gender. Everybody's like getting along. I just have one question. Don't you know no other songs? Don't you know no other songs?" So why do we chant the Hare Krishna mantra given by Sri Chaitanya? It's a universal. You can chant it when you're sad. You can chant it when you're happy. You can chant it in private. You can chant it in public. And there's layers and layers of meanings, but very simply, the Maha Mantra, which we were just singing earlier, it's very, in its most simple form, it's saying, "Dear Lord, please use me, engage me in your service. Let me be an instrument in the world for your will. Let me be like a puppet. You pull the strings and I'll dance." That's what the Maha Mantra is saying. You make me dance. I'm yours. I'm yours. So that's the first thing Sri Chaitanya taught. What a great gift he gave us. The second thing is he taught about the love of Radha and Krishna. So without going into a deep esoteric thing, the most simple understanding is we have this beautiful picture here of Radha and Krishna, you see? The divine masculine and divine feminine dancing together. See how cute? Radha's holding Krishna's flute and Krishna's holding his little shawl around Radha. So Radha and Krishna, divine masculine and feminine, the divine lover and the divine beloved. God loving God at the center of all existence, our divine mother and father of all consciousness, all creation. This divine couple is the love between Radha and Krishna is the source of all the love in all the known and unknown universes. One of the beautiful things about bhakti is we understand at the center of everything is Radha and Krishna dancing. If we imagine all the universes like a giant spinning lotus, at the center is Radha and Krishna dancing and everything revolving around them. Why is that so important? Because never again for the rest of your life do you ever have to worry about being the center of attention. You never have to worry about being the center of attention. Krishna is always the center of attention. And who are we? We just serve. We serve someone, somehow. The expression is the servant of the servant of the servant. So this is what we express. It all came through Sri Chaitanya, the understanding of the love of Radha and Krishna, which comes in the form of the holy names, which is the balm for the chapped heart. The nectar. So let's sing, you probably already did it, but I like slowing it down. Let's sing the Chaitanya mantra or the Panchatattva mantra, and we'll meet these personalities in the form of their names. Please say Jai Gaura, Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Gaura, Bhakta Vrinda. One of them is not behaving himself, he's dancing around. Can look inside. I turn around and he turns around again. So this last line from this Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, we're saying, how blessed are we to be there in the Sangha of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. How blessed, how lucky are we? Think about all the nuts things that are happening in the world right now. But we get to be here, singing together. Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Please repeat after me. This is Gauravani. Jaya Gaura, Jaya Gaura, Jaya Gaura, Jaya Gaura, Bhakta Vrinda, Bhakta Vrinda, Bhakta Vrinda, Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Gaura, Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Gaura, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari You know the words? Sing along. Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Let's go name by name and meet these 5 friends, these 5 dancing friends who brought Kirtan out into the streets. Please say Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Oh, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Together. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. You say Prabhu Nityananda. Prabhu Nityananda. Oh, Prabhu Nityananda. Everyone. Prabhu Nityananda. Prabhu Nityananda. Prabhu Sri Advaita. Sri Advaita. Sri Advaita. Sri Advaita. Sri Advaita. Sri Advaita. Gadadhar. 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 Srivas Adikora Bhaktavinda Srivas Now let's sing 4 times all together with one voice from our heart of hearts. Jai Gaura Bhaktavinda. Here we go. Jai Okay, we're going to go all the way through this mantra. I hope that those of you who came tonight who weren't yet familiar with this are a little more familiar. I know these words are foreign when you hear them for the first time, but sing them loudly anyway. It makes God happy when we try like children. And we fail and we try. It's all good. It's all part of the process. Okay, here we go, all together. Oh, so let's chant this Maha Mantra now. That was the favorite song of Sri Chaitanya. Please say Hare. Hare. Hare is calling out to the divine feminine. Sri Radha, sometimes called the heart of God. Hare. Krishna. Krishna. Krishna means the all-attractive one. Certainly, God is the all-attractive one, the source of all beauty. Rama. 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 Rama means the ocean, the repository, the holding place of all pleasure and happiness. Rama. So I live in the DC area, and there's a lady at the temple in DC who makes something called kachoris. Anyone know what a kachori is? It's a little like savory like snack. And if you like kachoris, most people like, if you like kachoris, you really like kachoris. They're like a special little thing. If you like them, you really like them. So kachoris, she makes them in a very traditional way, and I get to help her make kachoris. So this lady wrote this tune that we're going to sing, the kachori, my kachori making friend from DC. Her name is Lakshmana Mataji. And she sang this tune, and I heard her sing it, and I said, I have to learn that, and I have to take it and share it all over the world. So I sang it with Ram last night at his house. Remember? Can you guys hear the nice accordion playing in the back? Okay, good. Because otherwise we can use this mic. So, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, oh, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, oh, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, oh, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, oh, Hare Hare, Hare Everyone clap your hands.
So we're going to do it little by little because this food is a little complicated, okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare With one voice. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Clap your hands, clap your hands. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Everyone clapping their hands, right? Okay, so we're gonna keep chanting, and I'm gonna ask Lena Davey to play on top of our voices like a bird flying over the forest. Okay, ready? Everyone. Hare Krishna, keep it going. Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Beautiful dancing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna, beautiful. Hari Bol. Man, I cannot tell you how lucky you guys are to have such a beautiful, talented musician who's playing for the Lord. You know, thank you. Hare Krishna. Such a pleasure. It's like,
Great cookies.
oh my Lord. She's holding out on me. I never had any. I guess you brought them tonight? Okay, perfect. You have to feed not just the soul, but also the body. Oh, beautiful. That was really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all for singing and for dancing. So many dancers. You know, one of the beautiful things about playing with musicians who are playing for Krishna, you know, Krishna's our name for God, of course. So the people who are playing for Krishna, there's a lot of times when you meet musicians, there's a lot of
ego and fear that comes into kind of music. You wouldn't know it. No. But when musicians play for Krishna, it's so free, and it really is like, it's like there's no end to the joy and the freedom that can come from singing and playing for Krishna. Really doing anything with that spirit, dancing for Krishna, cooking for Krishna. On the outside, it looks like the same thing, right? It just looks like the same thing that anyone else is doing. But it's not. It really is not. Life is so short and so filled with difficulties that every moment we have to really take it as a precious gift. I just wanted to, I know we're supposed to end now, so I just wanted to end with one little story. Okay. So some of you guys may not know this may not make any sense to you, but there's a show called Looney Tunes. It's like a cartoon. Like some people maybe didn't grow up in America, maybe don't know this, but Looney Tunes has all kinds of characters. Bugs Bunny, who else is there? Tweety and Sylvester, Tasmanian Devil, Yosemite Sam, Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote. I mean, like, there's just like tons of characters in this show for kids. The amazing thing is all the voices were done by one guy, named Mel Blanc. He did them all, and they're all different from each other. So his son kind of tracked it down. It's like 1,500 voices that were distinct from each other that he did. And they're all very different. It's one guy. You guys knew that, right? It's one guy who did all the voices. One guy. Famous, Mel Blanc. So he got in a major car accident when he was like an older man and was in a coma. So I'm telling you a story about the power of sound vibration. Okay? This story is about the power of sound vibration. So we're spending our lives singing God's name. What did Mel Blanc spend his life doing? What's up, huh? That's what he spent his life. Thousands and thousands of repetitions of right? This is like his. So it was in his psyche so deeply. This vibration of sound. Okay, we can all agree. If you spent years doing cartoons and you were the only guy doing all the voices, you spent years meditating on all these voices and they're in your psyche, right? We all agree to this, right? Mathematical fact, okay? He got in a coma. For 2 weeks, he was in a coma. They couldn't wake him up. His son came in, the doctors came in, everything was fine. I mean, he had to heal from this car accident, but nothing was wrong. Nothing was wrong. He just was in a coma. You understand? There was nothing broken, but his brain, like the wiring of his body somehow. So no one knew what to do. The son would come in every day and talk to him. He would talk to him, his family, whatever. So we, according to the saints and the teachers and the yogis like Srila Prabhupada, the great teachers of our tradition, we are in a coma. That's what they're telling us. This life is not our real life. Well, how could that be? It seems so real. It feels real. It's just like being in a dream state or in a coma. It feels so real. But the thing is, a dream is short. It's temporary. And when you wake up, you realize, oh God, the rules of that dream world were so strange and awkward. But they seem natural. They seem real. Okay? So we are in a coma state like Mel Blanc. Now what happened was, well, first let me say this. So what do they teach us? Srila Prabhupada, this is a painting of him. All of these, going back to Sri Chaitanya, they teach us, you have to wake up from the coma, and the best way is through the repetition of God's names. Because that name will remind you of reality. It will remind you of your identity beyond this body. Right? So Mel Blanc was just laying there for 2 weeks. And then one day, the doctor came in and said, he looked at his chart and he goes, all right, what's up, doc? And he literally was just like, and that was it. He was back to normal. The sound vibration, according to modern science, the sound vibration caused like a push the reset button on is somehow or other. It's totally mystical. And that's just material sound vibration in this particular, we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So what we're asking when we're chanting, we're asking the Lord, please, I don't want to be associated with the coma state anymore. I want to wake up. I want to be with you. I want to see things as reality. I want to know what's up. I want to live in the land of eternity, not the land of the body, the land of the mind. Thank you so much for having me, letting me join your party. Thank you again for being here. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for holding it down here. This is such a treasure. Yes, announcement.
Guruji, one of our devotees in Chopati, she left her body.
Oh.
Today. So can we say Narasimha prayer?
Absolutely. You want to lead us? All right.
What did she say though?
One of our dear friends in the sister community left this world. And so we're going to sing this traditional song, which is just a prayer for protection and well-being. Yeah.
You can do magic. Turns up into a kitty. Go. You're a kitty. Can you do that?
I can adjust the use.
Do you want me to change it to a kitty? Here.
Let's have dinner. So we have just started making some plates. So those who are okay with pre-made plates can go directly on the table. Those who want to choose what we have received here, starting. Since we don't have enough chairs and tables, some people may have to come back here and say, please, let's have dinner.
You want to roll over? Very good.
Seems too late.